guys, and welcome to our podcast. And in today's session, we'll call it, I guess, in today's talk, we're gonna discuss clearing your space and what that means to have a clear space and to remove stuck energy and to welcome in new and positive energy. So I'm really excited about this chat today because I do know that that can be an issue for a lot of us, and I think that this talk will benefit a lot of people with different tips going into the topic. We might get a bit deep here because this is a freestyle chat, freestyle conversation that we're about to have. So I'm a bit excited for that too. So my name is Enya. I am a application support specialist by trade, and I also do tarot readings on YouTube. And I love spirituality and just everything with consciousness and chats about life and psychology. And those are my passions. And here are my friends. Let me introduce you to Travis.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Travis. I'm here repping for the highly sensitive and queer souls who want assistance with healing and evolving and just holding a space for these beautiful souls. I'm so excited for today.
And Jared.
Hi everyone, I'm Jared. I just love having positive, delightful energy all around. Like I like being with people who are just generally like radiate like high vibrations, high frequencies, and therefore I think that this is a really important topic to me because I just like having a nice time. I think everybody could really appreciate that. So I really appreciate this topic, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for that. So I do want to kind of begin this chat with a bit of a question here for both of you. And I'm curious, what is a clear space? Like what exactly is a clear space, and how would you know that you live in a clear space? What is the indicator that you have a clean or clear space? That's the question.
Okay, so for me, like I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but when I enter a space or when I am present in a space and I'm in touch with my feelings and everything, like you can feel the vibrational frequency of the area around you. And when you're happy, it's almost like if the space around you feels like a lot like it's vibrating higher and you guys are resonating with one another and just raising the frequency. And it's like that when you match somebody's energy and you're just having a really good back and forth. And you all are resonating, and resonance is basically you all are vibrating in the same frequency, so it's enhancing one another. But when somebody is, let's just say, sad or depressed or anything like that, think about science and think about particles. The more energized the particle is, the more it vibrates, the more energy it has. It's releasing that energy in the form of vibrations. And if you're sad, you are low frequency, low energy. So you vibrate a lot slower. So if one person is high energy and the other person is low energy, well, diffusion says that they'll meet and they'll try to balance one another out, and therefore, one of two things will happen: they will meet somewhere in the middle, or the high vibration one would bring up the low vibration one, and vice versa. So to me, a clear space is something that the space that aligns with how you are feeling. And don't get me wrong, right? Being in low vibrations is sometimes necessary because being sad is sometimes necessary. You need to feel sadness in order to sometimes go through the process of grief and to get over what you're going through. But when you want to clear space, you just want to feel safe to feel however you want to feel. Whether that be sad, happy, you just want to feel how you want to feel. So that clear space to me is a neutral ground. You don't want any resonance. You don't want anything else but to feel how you want to feel. If you want to be happy, you want things that reflect that. If you want to feel sad, you want nothing so that you could be in your low frequency. So to me, that's what a clear space is.
Yeah, I agree so much, guys. That was so good, Jared. I agree so much.
Yeah.
You'll just know how these what energy exists in that space when you walk in, and you
Mhm.
feel notice your emotions, how you feel when you enter that space. That if yeah, you just notice how you feel when you enter there. You feel more down as you enter that space, or do you feel
Mhm.
lighter, freer? That's how I've began to
Wow.
notice if this what energy this space is holding. I'm sure you guys agree.
Yeah, I that's fascinating because I would associate a clear space as like physical too. So
Mm,
it like actually I look forward to how entering a space. I don't know if this makes sense, but like I don't I think this is something I need to work on as well. But I like it to dictate my mood.
mm,
So I would walk in, especially if it's my own personal space, like my home. I love cleaning. You know, I'm not a clean freak because I still am a bit dirty.
mm,
Place my place will get nasty, but I do find the energy and time to clean when I
mm,
need to. And I think if my place is clean and I just cleaned it, it helps raise my vibration
mm,
versus if I have a disorganized messy space, and that I don't know, that doesn't help. It just doesn't help. So I associate a clean space. I know that's very literal and very like physical as well, but I agree with Jared 100% with the energies too, because you can have a clean room and a clean space, and then all of a sudden you just don't feel good because the energy around, or the energy that you're sharing the space with, as he said, it's a vibrational match, and match, like not match as in
mm.
match like the mat, like if you're facing off each other versus I don't know if I said that right, but anyway, it's like a fight, like 1 minute you happy, you intend to be happy, and then that kind of brings me to my second question that I have is like,
Mm.
um like, do you let me try to phrase this right. Okay, if you want to have a happy and clear space, like, does that mean you have a clear space, or it doesn't mean that you don't? Because you may intend or have intentions to have high vibrations. As I said, you can clean your space up, everything sprucey and already, and then all of a sudden, you may be sharing your quarters with people, so that one person comes outside and it's like, oh, you know like,
Yeah.
how, yeah, so how do you describe that? Is that still having a clear space, or like what, like how would we navigate that?
Travis, you want to go first? Still
You
trying
go
to.
ahead, Jared, because I wanna rally off something you said earlier.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. So, and yeah, just ask the question one more time so I fully understand what you're trying to ask.
Sorry, yes, so I'm just basically, the question is, if you have intentions of wanting a clear space, meaning that, because your first question was what it is, right? And you decipher
Right.
that it is of a place where the vibrations are high. However, like, if you intentionally want high vibrations, like you wake up in the morning, you want to be in a good mood, you know your set pace, your
Mm,
set energy, and your set mood is good, like high
right.
vibrational,
Yeah.
your space is clean, everything. However, you kind of faced with something that is not
Mm.
that, maybe in the form of
That's
having
true.
a roommate or flatmate, or like, anything
Mm.
else, like something that just comes our way that just lowers the mood. how
Mm.
how, like a family member as well, because people live with their family too, so you walk outside and you there, and then that kind of brings down the mood a bit. Is
Mm.
Yeah.
that still defined as a clear space? And that's my question.
Okay,
Or is
so
it?
I think you see it's very, very situational. Um, because I think for me, the way how if I'm visualizing what you're saying, because I'm trying to visualize it as you're talking, right?
Mhm.
So I'm in my bedroom and I'm in a high mood and I want to come outside to like a shared area, and I know that they are going to come there or they are there right now, and that may potentially bring me down, right? So if that shared space is a clear space, then in that instance, no, I don't think so. Because for me, for it to be a clear space, there must be a level of unaffectedness in it. So if it's clear, it's neither high nor low. It's left up to whatever the user makes it, in my opinion, right? So if it was clear, then when I come out with my high vibration, it'll be high with me. But if he or she is there and they're bringing down the vibe, then I would say that it isn't a clear space,
Right.
because it's now being
Ooh,
affected.
that is
Uh,
interesting.
and in that's just how I see it. And I think in that instance, well, that gets into something I want to talk about later on.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that it in my opinion isn't clear because it could be affected by them, by external factors.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Travis, you
I
say?
love that question, and to me, it's the whole reason why we're doing this podcast because
Yeah.
it's like a physically presenting a space that physically presents us as clean
Yes.
isn't always because we just have so much interferences from many different like many different sources, and so the answer is absolutely not.
Yeah.
My space, just in general, spaces just become so easily corrupted, so easily, so
Wow.
fast by
I agree.
many, and yeah, like I was telling you guys, like radiation, there's so many overwhelming presences which could just finds it and seeps its way into your space, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's why we're doing this podcast on how important it is to learn to get to have the tools to protect your own
Correct.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but radiation, other people who have heavy energies, and it could be either intentional or unintentional. Mostly is unintentional, and their energy seeps into your space. And
Yeah.
businesses, like business places, I was telling you guys how we downstairs by us, there's a doctor's office which has incredibly draining energy, and it causes many vehicles to shut down right in front of our homes, our batteries and stuff, our car batteries would go down really fast. But I just
Mhm.
know that there was like a vortex, it created like a vortex of energy or so, like kind of sucked
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
pulled, drained energy. So I've had to learn to navigate these things. So the answer is absolutely not.
Yes, okay, I agree completely. So, well, speaking on that, it is a lot of people do things as well that could send entities and negative energies that, as you said, will seep into your space. But my question would be now, would how what are the tools that we would use? Because that leads us to talking about stuck energy, and we want to know how to clear that. So, what tools will you use? And then, like, I'm not gonna lie and sit here and try to look pretty, but I'm gonna just be very, very real and honest right now. You can clear your
Yes.
Please
space.
do.
We can clean the space, right? And I clean in the space. And then you pull out the Palo Santo stick and you burn it.
Palo Santo.
Burn it. Smoke, right?
Guys, by the way, please stop using white sage. White sage is not ethically gathered. It is unethically gathered. So please use Palo Santo
Oh, for
from a
real?
reputable source. Yeah.
Okay, we can
Oh,
discuss that later down. I would want to know more about it. But yeah,
ooh.
so you're burning the Palo Santo stick because I just like Palo Santo. I don't know what it was. I just felt more aligned with that scent, and I felt like it does the job more than anything. So I would light that and I would clear it, and you'd feel in the moment, yeah, and like an hour or two after, yeah, feeling good. But then,
Good.
you meet the vibration of the
And
other.
you sure it's just clearing you were doing that? Sounded like something else you're doing.
Listen. Let's humble up back down to the point, right? But then you would still meet again, like to say,
Mm.
flat your flat situation or a family member that comes in or they're wrong, they live in the area and you walk outside and again it affects. So my question would be, yes, you have these tools and I want to know what tools you all use as well, but this is like a double question. What tools do you use, and then does it clearing your space only individually applies to you? Because I realize it doesn't necessarily affect someone else's
Mhm.
energies, especially if you have that family member that's negative and they're in your space and they still bring you down even though after you have cleared your space in inverted commas. And it's this is How? Like this is baffling to me, because it's like, okay, so then you couldn't clear a space, you couldn't. So now, do we have? So then that goes into question. So it seems like because of free will and that law of free will, we don't have permission to kind of clear for them unless they consciously want to clear. So they can consciously walk around with these harmful, toxic energy affecting your space, and then you can't really do anything about it because, this is I have gone through this twice in my life. My ex had very heavy energy, and even though how much times I would clear and sage and try to heal him and help his energy rise, if I could raise his vibration for him, I would. But unfortunately, it wasn't something that he consciously was ready to do on a deep soul level, and he probably was more comfortable carrying around that weight of that toxic emotions versus releasing and letting go. And that is why it is very important to clear space. And when you say space, it looks like we're talking about an auric level as well, not just physical. And same situation, like how I was saying, like where I live now, when you have flatmates or you have the family members, like that is like you can't help them. They have to now consciously decide, look, I want to clear and like lighten the mood. And so, and sometimes they're not even aware or conscious of it. They're like completely oblivious that they have these heavy toxic energies. What do we do as conscious people? Do we push them, say, hey, you need to have a sea bath? you need to get I don't know what you need to do, like a spiritual bath, like you have something, how, like, yeah, I want to hear you guys' opinion. As I said, what are the tools and how do we deal with people that not really conscious of it and stuff like that.
But do you wanna? I don't want you to feel left out. Do you wanna share how do you first clear your space?
Oh yes, of course. So as I was saying, I would put on I love those YouTube music videos. Like you can put on a YouTube, it could be anything. It depends on just music that raises your vibration. But I actually love putting on the 528 gigahertz clear negative.
Yeah.
They actually have the title clear negativity, or they have the title clear stuck energy, or they may say welcome in abundance, welcome in this. And I like to put on those, like, that kind of ambience music in the background. I will get to cleaning, so I will clean to the ambience music, and as soon as I'm done, almost done cleaning and everything, like sheets washed, place vacuum, probably dusted and everything kind of looking good, and the place already feeling lighter. And as soon as that is completed, I would then proceed to light the Palo Santo and meditate to clear probably myself, or I'll be clearing myself in the process, because I use physical cleaning as a way to kind of sync with my aura and try to clean that as well. So I would light the Palo Santo, clear my space. I like using symbolic sigils. So I have a protection sigil that I use, that I will draw to like around my window or like my doors, just to protect it. And it's just that's what I do, like things like that. And I believe I light a candle as well. I believe in Jesus, so I have a Jesus candle. We call it the Jesus candle. So I would light that for protection. And then yeah, that's pretty much what my routine or ritual is when it comes to that. And I am very baffled with the second part to that double question, which would have been, how do you handle a family member or an external person who does need some clearing? Their energy is heavy, and I don't know. I think my thing would be to check yourself before you wreck yourself, and just make sure that it's not you projecting that onto them, and to just try to internalize and try to find out, hey, is this coming from me or them, and try to get ready with source. And once you connect to source and you get everything ready with them, and you let go of things, and then you still feel affected negatively, then probably it is an external thing. And that's where I'm kind of baffled, where, okay, I don't know how to draw the line there, or, actually I do know, because I'm in denial. And part of my suggestion with that would be probably you have to think about physically moving out, even if it means moving out of the family home or getting a new living arrangement with someone else, things like that. And I think your safety and your space is very, very sacred, and you should honor that. And part of that should be an alternative. However, I don't know why I feel like that's running, and I feel like it's running for some reason. And but then again, I want to hear your opinions on everything that I just said, because it seems like this is not something you could actually address spiritually, especially if the other person is not a willing participant to receive the blessing or to receive clearing of their auric space from you. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody knows that
So
I'm very
Travis, you wanna
question.
yeah, so Travis, you wanna go first, then I'll pipe in after.
Yeah, I love everything Anya said. With these, I really love that. I love that you make a kind of enjoyable. You make it enjoyable. You play the music, like you sing, you beat, you have a good time doing that. It's pretty similar for me, you know. I like that it gets to be a fun thing. Um, for me, it's very similar. It's through meditation, just allowing, simply bringing. I do this very easily, quickly now. I just bring light in from the earth. I let this pure white light from the earth, right? Imagine this energy going up into my space, into my room, allowing it to seep in and just absorb whatever is in my space. I allow that to go back down into the earth, and I just begin to now actually visualize my space. Well, we use theta healing practices, so we just simply visualize that space going up into all the way to heaven, if I would say, and asking God to bless this space and protect it and make it. And I intend what energies. I really love Jared's intro there. To me, it set the tone, like setting the intention for what energies I would rather to be in my space instead after after whatever energies leave, you know. So I would intend, okay, I want more serenity, I want to feel more safe, I want to feel safer, I want to feel I can be myself more and speak my truth more. I want to feel just cozy, and I really want to feel heaven on earth in my space. And I would sit in meditation until I feel that that's complete, right? I would say, however, that space clearing, I guess we could talk about this later on, but space clearing, it needs to happen often, especially if you are like us, you do a lot of spiritual work, you deal with a lot of heavy energies. Just because you choose to go through the tougher life lessons of this, this emotional spiritual work, I've noticed for myself, I need to do a space clearing like every day, because just because even in your sleep you'll be doing work, we'll be having dreams about what we're experiencing emotionally, so there's always, and because it invokes so much energy because this all these emotions are finding a way out of us to be cleared, because it's coming out now, the energy needs to be cleared,
Yeah.
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 So it finds it the energy is finding a way out through us, and the energy itself wants to be cleared, so it's finding that way out. So I find it's necessary to have that and energy clearing every day, um and yeah, that's what I do.
So, Enya and Travis, I both agree with everything you guys said as well. I think that, yeah, both of what you said is something that is very important. But I just want to give two caveats to anybody who may be interested in space clearing and energy healing and in that line, because I remember when right after we did theta and I learned how to clear my space and everything. Boy, your boy went out there. He was almost looking for negative spaces to go and clear, and just as like, I can do this. This is what I'm here for. Like, this is my duty as a healer. Like, I am just here to spread positivity. So I just went about looking for a fight almost, man. And like, and I would say like the first caveat would be preparedness. You must always prepare before going to do any kind of like energy work, because you have to be prepared in certain ways. So the first thing is that exactly what Travis just said, intention. What is your intention in declaring? Is it an ego thing? Do you feel that you are the biggest and the baddest and you want to clear it because of the ego thing? No, don't do that. That's not coming from the right place. Because what place you want to come from is a place of trying to inspire love and light and healing energy into this place. So, and that is why you cannot get permission to clear anybody else without, you have to get permission before you can clear anybody else's auric space.
Yeah.
Because if it's not their intention, and if they have their let's just say bonds with other entities, like that is nothing,
Mhm.
that has nothing to do with you, and you could just cause chaos for yourself.
And then
So
that actually your presence and your vibration will trigger the entities that attach to that person. So if
right,
that person not really willing to let go, it is very much like prevalent that the energies will try to infiltrate or try to just send negative energy to you. So don't wonder like you're
right,
drained, you're feeling drained all of a sudden, or
yeah,
you're just feeling like tapped out, or like you're just feeling weak, or you're just not feeling optimal up to 100%, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is in being prepared. So be firm in your intention. If your intention is just to bring about love and light, or if your intention is to just feel safe, be secured in that intention. If you're healing your space and clearing your space, you have to not only invoke your guides and your positive energy. So for me and Enya and Travis, it'll be creator or Jesus. We would invoke their names when we're doing clearing. But so you have to be strong. Do not be fearful. Do not go with fear. Remember that it's not just you clearing, it is the entity that you are invoking. They are doing the clearing work. And you have to be certain that they know what they are doing. So you know what you are doing in that instance. And because if you go through with a fearful or unsure or anything like that, if you go into that, that is almost like a chink in your armor that negativity would like latch onto and try to get at you. So just to be prepared, be secure. If you are not secure, please do not go out there trying to do anything that could put yourself in danger. The second thing, as Travis was saying, that he finds himself having to do a lot of clearing energy, and Enya, I know you also experience this a lot.
Hmm.
Highly sensitive souls, especially very positive, energetic souls, and both y'all are empaths,
Right.
attract a lot of negativity because everything in life is about balance. What does negativity like? Negativity likes positivity to balance itself out. So
Right.
it looks for energetic souls. It looks for that positivity to bring it down lower. So it wants to balance out. So if you're a highly sensitive person, if you're an energetic person, if you're a person that radiates a lot of positivity and high vibrations, you have to be aware that negativity energy vampires will be on their way to come and get you.
Yeah.
And you have to be, and that's why a lot of people say that you would never meet so much toxic people as around like spiritual spaces. That's where the toxic people like to hang out, because spiritual spaces attract a lot of positive people. So the negativity was like, all right, let me go there because that's where it is.
That makes
So
sense. Yeah.
I
so
didn't think
you
about
have to,
that.
yeah, so that's why you have to be so sure in like, as a highly sensitive person, why you have to keep on doing clearing. You might always
Yeah.
say, but why this toxic person always coming out? Why I always attracting toxic people, boy? Because they like positive people. So that's why you all always have to do clearing. So the first thing that you all need to be aware of is the fact that if you're putting out that vibe, which I would never say not to do that, you all live your best life, just be aware and just know what you're doing. And I'll get into how to attend to that later on. But the main thing
Yeah.
is, as a highly sensitive person, you will be attracting them. And the very last thing I wanna talk about is just in this instance is like auric cleansing. because not at all times will you be able to clean the space you're in or heal the person you're dealing with, as Enya was saying. So the main important thing is protect yourself at all costs. Protect yourself and the vulnerable people around you who trust you to help with them, right? And the way to do that is through auric cleansing. What I like to do is I like to invoke Jesus's light and just picture like a spotlight of healing energy on you and just like passing around you, picking up and disturbing any still energy. So imagine like a spotlight on you and radiating light on you. That's energy. Light is energy. And just imagine it cleaning and disturbing any still or harmful energy on you. What I like to do as a practice is if I'm talking to somebody and I realize that they have a heavy presence and they're weighing me down, as soon as they are sending any heavy energy my way, I am the spotlight just picking it up. One is almost like a vacuum over me, picking up, and please do not send any energy back any person's way. That is not the way to do it. That is not a good idea because that could invoke all sorts of things. Do not return to sender, return to creator's light. Let him deal with it. He knows how to deal with it. So just let creator vacuum it up, vacuum up all the still energy, replace it with his high vibrational angelic energy, and clear your space. Just imagine it just being clear as possible. As Enya said, imagine like you're cleaning up your house, cleaning up your aura, and only putting in there the things you want to remain. So for Enya, I know that was a long-winded answer, but I'll answer your question directly now. If I encountered anybody who is bringing down my energy, that's exactly what I would do. I would invoke Jesus's name or Creator's name, and I would say, Creator, please send your healing light to protect me and any energy that is sent my way to disturb me or disturb my presence or peace. Please send it into your light and wash it clean, and remove it from my space.
Wow.
And if I am doing that like physically in my place, so like let's say I'm in my apartment and I feel like a heavy presence, I'll do the same exact thing. I would just ask Creator, please join me here. I invoke your name, I invoke Jesus' name. Please send your healing light to clear this space and disturb any unwanted energy in your highest that you do not define to be in your highest and greatest good, and remove it from this place and send it into your light. And that's what I do. And I feel a lot safer after.
Okay. I love that advice. I think that's really, really more like the shielding aspect. And then when you were saying that, I remember something came into my head. Like, always ask your angels for help because they're willing to help you. You know, not just angels. These deities that you believe in, God and Jesus Christ and whoever else that you truly believe in and you pray to, they are sacrifice their energy to give you the energy of becoming a high vibrational being or having a peaceful life and existence here on earth. So it does help and they do help. And I think trying to do it all by myself is where I was slipping up, and that reminder of, oh, you don't have to do this all alone, you can ask for help. That definitely kind of changes, a game changer there for me, that realization. So that brings like that question of if we should make this a daily habit, right? That's a yes. We should make it a daily habit because entities are attracted to beings like ourselves who are light workers, who empaths, star seeds, people who just, just have love to give. I would say that's the best way to put it. There's a lot of us out there. Don't be fooled. Even though the world doesn't seem like that, and it might be very discouraging. I to think about it, it's like, oh, I wish it makes so much sense why we can't interfere with other people, because then everybody energy here will be cleared out in the entire world. And I guess things just doesn't work like that. So yeah, you should make it a daily habit for you and yourself, and you should make it a self-care part of your self-care regime of clearing energy.
And I just wanna say one more thing, because I now remember the last part of what you were saying too. For anybody who may have a roommate or somebody in their direct line that like is affecting them, moving out may not always be a valid option because
It isn't in
but
my case, and that's why
yeah.
I said that too. Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
what my suggestion is to try to distance yourself from that energy. It's not always possible, I know, but creating healthy boundaries and establishing those boundaries that feel safe for you, that, like everybody always has boundaries. Like, just establish those boundaries as best as you can. It may not always be like a definitive boundary that it doesn't have to be extreme, an extreme ultimate boundary, but just something that you can feel a little bit safer with, like
Mm.
um your room, for example, your bedroom is a no-go zone if you all have different bedrooms. Like, they are not allowed to enter your bedroom without your permission, or they aren't allowed to bring their friends over after a certain time. um
Right.
like, establishing those boundaries, I think, would be really, really helpful.
Um,
And yeah.
a lot of the time, especially here in our culture, yeah, I get that we may have rules, and I think generally it's very, very difficult to live with someone else who's not a partner, a lover, or a family member. I think it is because at the end of the day, you have to remember, yes, you guys are more business partners than anything else because you're just trying to cohabit or coexist for a lesser price, if that makes sense. That helps with the bills. But it is a lot because, again, you might not like a lot of qualities and traits and habits that that individual possesses. And you now have to know, yes, you can set certain boundaries that are realistic. However, telling them about friends and what time to come over, to me that is going a little bit overboard, because let me tell you why. I would love that. I would love if I could have that level of control over someone else, but this is not a younger brother, it's not a family member, it's not a lover. This is someone, and then again, you shouldn't really have that, but that's a whole next topic. But um this is a person, a whole grown ASS human being who's an adult, and they could always spin around and say, "Listen, I didn't come move into this place to be parented. I moved into this place to help with bills, my bills and your bills." So like it couldn't spin around that way. And I think parenting is set in a time. And yes, you can have boundaries like that, but then that person could disagree and they can say like, "Look, to hell with you. I'm not really gonna listen to those rules," and then that creates a toxic environment. I've been in that environment, you know. Um, countless times. So it's like, yeah. So I think yes, probably trying to manifest. I'm not ever gonna tell somebody that they can never change the situation, because the truth is you could. You just have to mentally change the situation in your head first before it could physically change, and that is alchemy and shifting realities and using manifestation to do that. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Jared. I think the boundaries would help right immediately once they can listen to it and adhere to that, and the roommate is cool with that and they okay with that. But there are certain boundaries that you can put in place that might be encroaching on their lifestyle, which is kind of unfair, because it's like, look, they're a grown adult. They're just here to help pay the bills, and it's not really any of your business to be telling them who they can have in their room on their half, because they do pay their half at whatever hour, if that makes sense. So, um, yeah, it's like
But I mean, okay,
this
so for
that
me,
this that
for me,
aspect.
there's a difference. There's a difference. Like, let's just say they want to have a partner or a friend over, like in their room after a certain time. Is a difference between that and they want to have a party every Friday evening, until the wee hours of the morning when you're trying to sleep. Like that's more what I was referring to, like setting boundaries like that. Like, once it's negatively impacting your life, I feel like they can instate boundaries like that. Like, in their room, they could do whatever they want to do. Like, you don't really have much control over that. But over shared spaces, after a certain time, I think that there is things that you could put in place. I think you're well within your right. If they are every Friday making noise, drinking, carrying on in the living room after 12 a.m., I think you are within your right to tell them, look, this is not gonna work out. Like, you need to stop that and define that boundary.
Okay. Um. I
I
agree.
mean,
I'm not saying I disagree, and I never disagree with the point. I was just saying that sometimes, it can come across as super overly controlling. And, um, to me, there's certain freedoms that you will want somebody to have when they do share a space in a room with you. But I agree. I think there is no way around it. You're right. But how I also feel is that sometimes you are put in situations, regardless, where that's definitely can't have a clear space. You just can't, no matter how much you've tried and stuff. And there is a time you need to become realistic about that and say, look, I have to try to find a difference. This is life. This is life contrasting here for those of the listeners and people who hear viewing this video podcast today, right? There and you guys are Abraham Hicks fans because I'm a huge Abraham Hicks fan. She calls these things in life that happens that we don't like contrasts, right? The contrast. So this is just what is the contrast? The contrast is basically, things that happen that you don't want to happen, but it's like an indicator for change. So it makes you realize, all right, I need to manifest something else because this is not working. And it is an indicator or push to strike a desire, like a rocket launch desire, she says. It's launch a rocket of desire within you to have a whole different outcome. And it's there for a reason, because if this didn't happen and if you're not in this situation ever, you wouldn't realize that, hey, I really truly just probably want my own house. Or I really truly just want a space just for myself. And you wouldn't recognize these things. So that's why it's there for you. So there is that aspect. But I do think the best advice that you gave to today with this situation would be that protection and asking for help from entities for protection, because it's deserved, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
yeah.
is it okay if I add two things? The first thing being a dump of all these stuff we mentioned that we could use to protect our space for the viewers out there, because I loved these stuff you guys shared so much. And is it okay if you also just confirm that these things by this podcast, these things work, like the holy water? What was the thing the stuff you guys use again?
I use holy water. I use black tourmaline. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
crystal, and I put that at all the entrances to my personal space. So like all windows, doors, and all
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, but I think the most important thing is the intention too. Like when you
Yes.
go into any space, setting down the intention. This is
Mm-hmm.
going to be a space of love. This is going to be a space of when I enter it, I feel a lot happier. My
Mm-hmm.
vibration is raised. I am not going to hold on to any negative energy. And just continuously blessing your space, clearing it out. It doesn't need to be a 20-minute long meditation and rant and
Mm-hmm.
chant, sorry, session. Like so yeah, so Travis, I would if you're talking about like small things and rituals they could get into, I would talk about that. Just trying to
Mm-hmm.
make your space happier for you. And this is shown in all kinds of different ways. Like people put up pictures, people put up lights, and what are these things and their manifestation? Like pictures are snapshots in time of a happier time. Lights and fairy lights brighten up the place. All these are things that bring in positive vibrations into your space.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, that it is these things are happy rituals that you could bring in to brighten up and make it more positive. So yeah, holy water. And what you're doing when you're sprinkling the holy water, you're saying you're invoking Jesus' name, and you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, please protect this space, clear out any unwanted energies, those kinds
Mm-hmm.
of things. So
I
plants
love that
also.
so much. I love everything you mentioned so much. I hope you guys take notes. We'll try to post this in the comments too. Yeah, and I love so much. Most importantly, that you I've been noticing this. You've been putting out there the power of intentions. I actually want that to be our next podcast. Whenever we decide to do that, because to me that
Yes.
energy is what creates the experience. You know
Yes.
yeah, and for me, I'll just input. I love the incense. Incense really, 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 really helps. How I know this is I was suffering with really a heavy wave of depression was over me, and I lit this incense, the thick ones, and it I can't remember if it was vanilla, it was one of them, but the smoke, it helped, it immediately began to dissolve that energy in my room. So that's how I know these things work. So I have incense available to light at any time. I have it already in my candle holder, just to light any time to lighten up that space. So that really helps, guys. So I just have it on standby, ready to go whenever I need that space clearing. It does the work for you. It makes the work easier. So if you don't have time to clear your space every day, we don't have time to sit down every day and do all that work. Light your incense and let that do the work for you. Find an incense you really enjoy, essential oils as well, diffusers, these things, they help so much, so much. And the second thing is, what I wanted to say is, I life his this the second thing is the real work behind the energy clearing, right? Especially with those with when other people are involved in your space and so on, is the real work is taking your power back from these people, all right? Because no longer obligating them to have control and influence over you and your space. That is the real work there. So then their energy no longer finds its way into your space. I've had to do this. I'm doing this now, and because this is the depth of work we're currently at, where it's like if you don't do the work, and you'll constantly find yourself having to do a lot of extra space clearings and energy healing sessions and stuff like that. The work gets easier the more we are able to take our power back, all right, from these people, and we no longer obligate them to have huge influences on and control and suppressions over your life. So this is for all you, beautiful, highly sensitive souls out there who are too shy to and just feel too powerless to exert your energy into your own space. It's time to learn to take back your power and to just be able to express your dominance over your own space and your own life, and just know that life actually gets easier. The belief that life gets harder is not true. Life actually gets easier. Based on your deeper dives you do in taking your power back. I would say that's your real work. You'll find yourself automatically in spaces that are amazing. You'll find yourself in places and with people who carry that same energy Jared was mentioning in the intro there. High vibrations, high vibrations. You'll automatically align more with these people. You'll find yourself less drained and burdened by heavy energy when you do these deeper dives. I would say that's a real work there, and still make that easy if possible to take back your power. I would say that's your real work, and life gets a whole lot easier.
I love that.
Can I also say, Travis, you touched on something really, really important there for me. Everything you said was important, but what really resonated with me is the fact that, oh my gosh, I can't remember the exact word to describe it, but the senses of smell, that is what is really healing for you. So smelling the incense and the other like essential oils and those sort of things. And not only is that important, I think, because it resonates with you, but like I'm sure that everybody, like for me, for example, whenever I smell certain smells, like the smell of paint, for example, I think about Christmas time, and it automatically makes me feel nostalgic of Christmas time, and it brings up my mood. So if I'm feeling sad and I somebody's painting around and I smell that paint, automatically I'm transferred from that sad mood to a nostalgic feeling of Christmas and Christmas cleaning and the excitement of it being around that time of the year, and automatically I feel better. And this is not me saying that that don't feel sad. Of course, it's important to feel sad at times, but like all of these things could lighten your mood and raise your vibration. For me, so for you, it's smell. I'm also smell, but I'm more visual. So the act of like more visual, like engaging with that sort of stimulation is what helps me. So that's why when I'm clearing my space and I imagine creator's light as a spotlight scrubbing all of the energy, all in the still and negative energy clean. That works for me because I'm visual like that. It raises my vibration. It makes me feel alive again, you know? So it's about finding what works for you and makes you feel safer and raises your vibration. For us, this might be what works for the three of us, but for you, it might be something else. And it's just doing the work to find out what it is that helps you, you know? So,
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. I love everything that you all just said, especially with Travis. But I have one question about the incense. Do you, before you light that, do you have an intention that you set, or you just light it and the scent is like more aromatherapy for you, where it raises the vibration?
Yeah, well, I just always intended to clear the space and rid it of heavy energy. That to me, that's always the intention.
Okay. Yeah, that's so cool. All right. So we came to the last question that I have in this podcast episode that I want us to divulge into discussing. And I'm really curious. So, do you guys believe that by acknowledging that there's negative energy and acknowledging that, there is, I don't know, evil or heavy energy, do you think that by acknowledging it, it is manifesting it into your life, or you think that by being oblivious or trying to ignore it, it still exists? And like, how would you guys? I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying my best here, so bear with me. Um, okay, so if you do go on ignoring it, but then again, you still feel down, you still feel sad, and you're stuck there. That's, I guess, stuck energy. And then if you do acknowledge it, do you think that you have to every day clear sage every morning, because you're acknowledging it? Is it manifesting more of that into your life, or you guys don't believe that?
so when you say acknowledging it, right? Do you, because once again, it's to me, it's situational. So if it's negative energy inside of you, so if you are, for example, if you're going through something and you aren't acknowledging it because you don't want to feel like you don't want to lower your vibrational energy, so you aren't acknowledging it, then I would definitely say that not to do that. But
Yeah, I
like,
think that's what creates this stuck energy.
yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
figured out. Yeah.
And it just builds up. It's almost like it's not acknowledging it and just allowing it to build up there. You're just ignoring your feelings and not attending to your needs. So so I would definitely say, like, to acknowledge that. But if you're talking about, for example, like, um you're going through a period of grief and you don't have the energy or the drive to fix your friends around you, and you see that they're going through something, but you really can't um, deal with that because your ship's sinking, so you can't afford to help with another ship.
Right.
um, then yeah, I think that I wouldn't say not acknowledging it. I think it's about perspective. So I wouldn't say don't acknowledge it. I would just say don't take on something that you can't physically handle at that point in time, because
Okay.
you're not going to be doing yourself any favors in that regard.
Okay.
I love that question. It's such a good question. Um, because it's so true. It's like, how it's so true. It's like, and in our empathy episode, we discussed, like, for empaths, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice but to acknowledge that heavy energy is going on within us or outside of us. So I cannot ignore it. I just cannot ignore whatever is going on. I see life as a constant dance between, these lighter and these heavier energies. I've accepted that, and I've accepted the dance. And my coach, she told me that even entities, they come to be loved and they come to go back into the light. It's like, everything, every single energy comes, it just wants to go home back to the light. And this helps a lot. And you know it just and I but also I really, really, because it's so hard to ignore these emotions, it life kind of became to where I'm focusing on these heavy emotions too much, and that in itself kind of drops my vibration. So I honestly, I did ask the universe, I did keep asking the universe, hey, I want to slow these lessons down, because just because I want to be able to also experience bliss and joy and love in this lifetime, I don't want to spend it just being wrapped up in lesson after lesson. So since then, universe has slowed down when I get to invoke more bliss and good things, and
Yeah.
it fills up my vessel so much, and my vessel isn't filled with the heavy emotions of the challenges I go through. So I'm loving that, I'm loving these experiences.
Okay, cool. I love that. I think my experience with the question would be, I mean, it was a little confusing, I would admit, but I think what I was trying to get at is with manifestation, by focusing on one thing, it is there, but I don't think it works that way. I don't think that if you focus on it and you acknowledge it, it will bring more of it into your life. I think by you more focusing on the clearing of it anyway, which is more focusing on the positive energy, so that would in turn bring, you already set a precedent, or you set an energetic intention that you want a clear space, you want to have this, so that will manifest more of that into your life. I think like what you were saying earlier, Travis, that like, it depends on how you do it and what you do. Eventually you just enter into more clear spaces and more high vibrations, and that's something that I definitely do welcome into my life myself personally, because it will be nice to eventually move into some very nice high-end spaces and clear spaces that raises the vibration and stuff like that. So yeah, we may have like the meditation now. You guys have anything to conclude or say before we move into that meditation?
No, I love everything you
Yeah.
said.
Oh, yes, Travis, you go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that was it. I love everything you said.
Um, for me, I think just remember, because I like to do reminders, just remember to be prepared. Don't enter into any situation that you're not ready to handle. If you're going to clear any spaces, please, get in contact with your guides, get in contact with whatever power you want to invoke, even if it's just the power of high vibration, high energy, and remember to be strong in your intention setting. um, Go in there with nothing but love and light, and do not try to send any energy back to where it came from. Just send it into um, the creator's light, or whatever you define to be the deity, like that light and that energy, source energy. Um, and yeah, just if ever you find yourself in a troublesome situation and you don't feel safe, like you feel like you're under attack, because the three of us have been under psychic and spiritual attack already. um just try to be grounded as possible in what makes you feel safe. To me, I pray, and that works for me. I instantly feel a lot safer. But just set your shields and your intentions. Get in contact with your guides, ask for their guidance, ask for their protection. But you're not alone. Don't ever feel alone. That's what the negative entities want you to feel. They want you to feel alone and scared, and that's what they feed off of, and that's how they get you.
Oh, wow. That is great. So, like, guys, if you have any further questions that you have on this topic that you really wish that we talked about in this chat, please drop it in the comment section below and just let us know if you have any questions on this. And if it resonates, and if you got some good tips out of this, if this was a little life changing, just give us a nice like as well. It helps the message spread across the algorithm so that more and more people could be benefit off of this conversation, right? So now we're going to enter into the segment where we do the meditation. And in this meditation, because of the topic, we are going to focus on clearing our space. So I would just help us ground our energy and center our energy, and then invite each and every one of our spaces. It's going to be pretty short and sweet, nothing too long. So if you have time to participate in this, just take a seat or lay down, get comfortable. Allow yourself to sink into your body. And how you can do that is by taking a deep breath in and out. And when you exhale, just feel all like the weight of your body just resting, all your muscles relaxing. The back of your neck, feel those muscles relaxing. Your arms, your stomach. And I'd like you to take your consciousness into your heart center or your heart space right now. And in your heart space, I would like you to be more conscious of the breath, how you're breathing. Pay attention to how your chest is rising up and down. And you're going to take a moment to just alchemy with that and be conscious of the presence of your body. Be conscious of the presence of your awareness. You're aware of this moment right now. The breath should slow if you were breathing fast. And if you've already been breathing slow, make it intentional by breathing in light energy and exhaling all heavy worries and anxiety. Breathe in again. And exhale. Let's do that one more time. In. And exhale. So now that we're centered and our energy feels very relaxed, let's try to connect with Mother Earth or Mama Gaia. I love to connect with Ascended Gaia, and what Ascended Gaia is just Earth transformed. Think of Earth transformed and it's sustainable and everything that can be right with it. It's exists. So Mama, connect to Mama Earth, Ascended Gaia, and then imagine yourself connecting to that by shooting roots out through your feet and growing it into the earth and pulling up the energy through those roots from Mother Earth. Just remember, Creator, all that is also part of this earth as well. So you're pulling all that energy up and it's grounding you. And once it enters through your feet, it lights up the root chakra, it lights up the sacral chakra, it lights up the heart chakra, it lights up the throat chakra, it lights up the third eye, it lights up your crown, it lights up the other chakras above and forms a huge bubble up above. Imagine a bubble of energy. It could be any color that you envision, but it's a huge bubble. It's impenetrable. You can't penetrate it. It's very, very tough. And it's also surrounded by Creator's light and protection. And you put your consciousness in this energy and you're about to float up, 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 past the clouds, past the sky. You're in the stratosphere. You're outside, you're in space. You see Earth, you see the moon, you see the sun. Then you float past all the planets. And you see outside the galaxy. And then you feel like you're seeing the galaxy in lights, 20 pretty lights in the distance. There's a multiple galaxies that you're seeing. And then above that, you are exiting the physical plane of existence, and you're now going up above to the fourth dimension, fourth plane, fifth plane, which is the golden level where all the masters and ascended masters abide. If you need extra protection and you want to ask a specific deity to accompany you at this time, you can. And then you pass that plane of existence into the sixth plane, which is the laws. This dark blue jelly-like substance of the laws. We don't interact with the laws. We just observe them and honor them and respect them. And then in the distance above the laws, there's this pink mist, evanescent mist. And we allow ourselves to consume that mist to allow us to be more compassionate. And then we go above that, above the mist. And in the distance, we see a light. This is the seventh plane of existence. And we allow ourselves to enter into it. This is the existence of all that is, the creator of all that is, exists in this plane, 7th plane of existence, and we're allowed to enter. And we connect with this energy. We thank this energy. We're so grateful. We feel surrounded by this unconditional love, this overwhelming amount of love and acceptance and understanding. And here's where we're personally going to ask Creator to anchor into our lives and teach us what it feels like to live in a permanent clear space. So Creator of all that is planted everyone that's listening to this right now, that you can download and teach them what that feels like to always have a permanent clear space. And Creator of all that is commanded that anything that is attached to our auric fields, everyone who's listening, that it clears out, and it's commanded that it's sent to your light, and you're attracted to your light, and you handle that, Creator. And Creator, it's also commanded that we abide in the highest form of high vibration and allow ourselves to feel at peace constantly. And we know what it feels like to live a peaceful existence in the most highest definition, truth and perspective, and in a very fun way. And for our last download here today, Creator is going to teach us what it feels like to be impervious to penetrable energies. We could be impervious to energies that infiltrate, energies that intend to harm us. We could be impervious to that. And if you agree to all these downloads and you want to experience that, just say yes. And then you just visualize yourself. You can see it happen because it's happening before our eyes. Like our auric field is growing, expanding, becoming stronger, filled with Creator's love and abundance. And we know what that feels like. We know what it feels like to be impervious to impenetrable energies and energies that intend to harm us. And we know what it feels like to be at peace, and we know what it feels like to live in a clear space permanently. Thank you. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Okay, so after that, now I would like us to just thank Creator 3 times. Just feel an energy of gratitude centered into this presence that you're in the bubble. Thank it, and then you're going to exit now. You're going to go back into the bubble, and then the bubble is going to descend through the mist, the pink mist, back through the lowest, to the plane, 5th plane, all the way back down to earth, and then it's going to hover above your head where you can wash off in this waterfall of Creator's love and unconditional protection and energy. And then you step into your crown chakra, back into your consciousness. You can wiggle your toes, open your eyes, feel back into your body. And before we exit or end this meditation, we can also connect to Mama Gaia and pull that energy back up through our feet, igniting the chakras, imagining a protection of light around us, shielding our auric field, shielding. Think of it impenetrable, stronger than steel, the toughest thing that nothing could get through. It's like layers and layers of shielding, protective white light that's constantly, infinitely surrounding our auric. Right. And then we say thank you, open your eyes, and thank you so much for participating in this meditation with me today. This brings us to the end of it. I hope it was beneficial to you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your time.
Thank you, Annie. That was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Anya. Before we all go, I just want to tell everyone, that don't ever feel guilty for being sad or upset. That's a natural part of life. Life is about highs and it's about lows. The only way that you can appreciate the value of the high points is by going through the low points and doing whatever it takes to, just get past this moment and learning as much as you can from it. So just appreciate the fact that you will have low points, but it will be a learning experience for you, and don't take it for granted, and don't ever feel guilty for feeling however you feel. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much everyone for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, bye guys, we love you.
Bye.